How you doing, everybody? Welcome to my channel called Dukes Up. On this channel, I'll be talking about combat sports such as UFC and boxing. For my first video, I'll be talking about the truth about Teofimo Lopez versus Vasyl Lomachenko. This fight happened in October 17th, 2020, and my claim is that Teofimo Lopez would have never defeated Vasyl Lomachenko if he did not come into the fight with a shoulder injury. Now, let me explain this injury. The shoulder injury that Vasyl Lomachenko sustained or got happened during his fight with Jorge Linares in 2018, where he dislocated his shoulder. So during Vasyl Lomachenko's fight camp leading up to fighting Teofimo Lopez, he had to go to the doctor because his shoulder was giving him issues again. During the time that Lomachenko had with his doctor, he had to get 2 injections for the shoulder problem. Now, after the injections, Vasyl Lomachenko received a bruise to his rotator cuff and a chipped cartilage. This was 6 weeks before the fight. So they operated on him and stuff, and he ended up, being able to train pretty well, decently. Even after he was operated on, when they noticed he had a bruised rotator cuff and a chipped cartilage, he still had some pain. So he had to take a week off of the fight. Based on how bad the injury was and the amount of pain that it was causing him throughout, his training camp, his promoter and his father, who is his trainer, did not want him to fight. They wanted him to bow out of the fight. But Vasyl Lomachenko, he didn't want to do that. He told his father and his promoter that he was going to fight no matter what. And if they didn't allow him to fight, that he would retire. Now, I just explained the pre-existing injury that Lomachenko had coming into the fight. In the second round of the fight, Lomachenko received another injury to that same shoulder in the second round. Now, prior to, receiving that injury, Lomachenko started off the fight slow. Lomachenko was known to start off fights slow anyways, but from round 1 all the way to round 7, Lomachenko wasn't really doing what he normally does. When Lomachenko fights, he normally, controls the pace. He's getting in your face, he's utilizing his footwork to get in on your weak side, to throw combination punches, and typically he throws punches and punches. He is a volume puncher. But in this fight, he didn't start hitting double digits until at least round 7 or 8, which is very uncommon for Vasyl Lomachenko. And because of this, Teofimo Lopez was winning rounds, which would not normally happen if Vasyl Lomachenko, was at a fresh state where he was not injured. One of the main reasons I believe Teofimo Lopez would have never defeated a fresh Vasyl Lomachenko is because of how he was losing the fight once Vasyl Lomachenko just stopped caring about his injury. So basically, by round 7, Vasyl Lomachenko started to, catch a rhythm and start putting it on Teofimo Lopez. Now, once he started putting it on Teofimo Lopez, he started to win the last rounds consecutively, except for round 12. But if Teofimo Lopez was that good, if he was that much better than Vasyl Lomachenko, he would have never let those rounds escape him. Especially when you consider the fact that Teofimo Lopez was not fatigued or tired. And on top of that, Vasyl Lomachenko is known for his extensive amateur record. He has won over 390 fights and only lost 1. Would you think a person like that, a fighter like that, would ever give up 5 rounds in a fight for undisputed, something that he's wanted his entire career? No, that just doesn't make any sense. He would not do that if something wasn't holding him back, and that was the shoulder injury. Like I said previously, Vasyl Lomachenko will give up at least 1 or 2 rounds. 1 or 2. Because it does not take him much time to start to figure out his opponents. He's had over 390 fights. He hasn't really seen anything new when it comes to fighters. So it definitely would not take him long to figure out how Teofimo Lopez fights. And once he started to actually start fighting Teofimo Lopez and stop being so worried about his shoulder, he started to wash Teo. He started to take 4 rounds consecutively. Now, I know how the scorecards look based on some of the judges, but some judges don't really know, you know what I'm saying, like boxing like that. But Andre Ward, who is a fighter and also working as a commentator, knows boxing pretty well. And his scorecard showed that Vasyl Lomachenko won the second, and I believe the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th round. I may be getting one of those rounds wrong, but it showed that he at least won 5 rounds. And those last few rounds before the 12th round, he won them consecutively. If Teofimo Lopez was that good, he would have never allowed that type of thing to happen. So that's basically my argument. Now, don't get me wrong. I do believe that Vasyl Lomachenko basically shot himself in the foot. He should have been more considerate of his own health rather than going into the ring and trying to defeat somebody who's a power puncher and highly athletic like Teofimo Lopez. The guy's 23 years old. Lomachenko is 32. It's like a 10-year difference. And Teofimo Lopez is fast. He's a pretty strong guy, so I don't think it was smart for Vasyl Lomachenko to go in there. It is his own fault for losing that fight the way that he did. He should have waited and came in there fresh, especially considering that he was top ranks golden boy. He was making them a lot of money. And on top of that, he was #1 on the pound for pound list of boxers. I do believe that the sanctioning bodies, you know, who distribute the belts, the boxing community, and even his opponent, Teofimo Lopez, would have understood if he withdrawed from the fight and then waited until he was fresh, he was healthy to actually put on a proper show. At the end of the day, like, it's understandable. Especially with Teofimo Lopez in his camp, they would have understood because they want to go in there and fight the best Vasyl Lomachenko. Because they respect Vasyl Lomachenko for how good he is as a fighter. So having to deal with, you know, Vasyl Lomachenko then explaining that he was injured before and after the fight, it is, you know, no wonder that Teofimo Lopez would be pretty mad that, you know, he's hearing about that like after he won. Because it's like you're trying to take away from all my hard work and everything that I did to get these belts. But at the end of the day, he still would have never beat him. He would have never beat him. But I understand where Teofimo Lopez is coming from. And also, even after the fight, Lomachenko still had to get surgery. He had to get surgery again. But it is what it is, you know. Next time, hopefully Vasyl Lomachenko will be able to win the belts. Thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.